Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. We're at 3691 Ridgewood Way here in West Linn. Located at the back of the house right by the crawl space hatch. We'll show that access point when we come back out. Dropping into a 4-inch cast iron cleanout. We're checking the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Water is running. We're actually going to turn that off here for just a second, just to get a clearer view of what we're pushing into here. And off we go. So here at the start of the line, we've got a lot of, I turned the water off, so this is right now, water is completely off. The line here has got a lot of standing water in it. I just caught a glimpse there a moment ago. This is the reason I turned the water off to begin with. It looked like I was pushing a piece of cast iron through the pipe. I can kind of feel it on my camera head too. Yeah, I've certainly got some issues here at the very beginning of the line. The line right now is, you've got probably 2 to 3 inches of standing water in it. And that in combination with rough old cast iron. I've done over 25,000 sewer scopes. A lot of bellies are not terribly concerning, but when you get close proximity standing water like this in rough cast iron, it's not a good combination. The water is slowing things down big time, and then you've got really rough pipe walls there that are going to snag onto that debris. All right, we finally cleared the belly area there. We'll give that another look over as we come back in. All right, we've got root intrusion here at the transition to concrete. The line in general, I mean, much of it, even outside the bellied area, it's rough, it's old, it's reaching the end of its lifespan at this point. Unfortunately, the cast iron from this particular era does not hold up terribly great. That first bit of the line there, I wouldn't be surprised if the pipe was actually exposed to the ground. That right there would appear to be our main lateral connection. We're going to do some locating here to see where the line just went. And I'm going to mark the line out here. When you start getting, at least the first 9-10 feet of the line need fixing, you've got a root intrusion there, and you start getting issues throughout lines this age and this condition. Spot repairs do not make sense. It's a full line update or nothing, in my opinion. You're just attaching new pipe onto stuff that's going to very soonly thereafter wear out. I'm going to pull up to the top of the drop. We're in such a nosedive right now that my locator is going to come in, the locate signal is going to come in weird. And I'll try to guesstimate for that, but when the camera's in a nosedive, it throws the locate off. So where we're at here, about 51 feet, it does almost a straight dive down. There. So that last little bit there, we're probably, if it's not a perfect nosedive, you know, I don't know if we're necessarily dropping 6 feet there, but it's going to be close to it. It's probably going to be at least 4 feet from whatever depth I get here at the top of the drop. All right, so this spot here, the line heads to the, it basically parallels the back of the house. I describe everything as if you're standing in the street facing the front of the home. Line pops out just at the side of the crawl space hatch and then runs from left to right across the back of the house and straight over to the right side fence line. And that location I'm trying to get to there, there's just too many sticker bushes to get back in, unfortunately. So I'm going to try and pull back in here a little ways and catch some locates leading up to it, and I can reasonably well fairly guesstimate things. Anyway, I'm going to be using pink flags. Obviously, wherever your last pink flag is, that's not obviously the end of the repair. It's just as far as I can locate here. And the line kind of heads over there and then turns a little bit. I'll make a little diagram on the report that gives you kind of a rough idea as to where things are going. It doesn't run straight across the back of the house, straight to the fence line. It kind of gets over to the right side of the property and then kind of turns and angles downward toward the fence line. I pushed the camera back out a little bit there. That runs away from the house at a little bit of an angle. It doesn't parallel the back of the house quite as much as I originally thought. It's about there around 37 feet. Even those spots are hard to locate. They're in and amongst sticker bushes, but I can kind of get the wand in there. Getting a rather shallow depth. I think it was around 2.5 feet deep there at around 30 something feet out. So not crazy deep by the time it hits the main, but still down there ways. You're probably still in the 6 foot, 7 foot deep category, at least by the time you're at the main. Now outside the first 9-10 feet here, this is one where you could, you know, the slope and grade is still there for much of the line. It's one you could potentially do a liner on. You're only 1'7", 1'8" deep here, very shallow. Doesn't start to get to much of a depth until the line does the nosedive at the end there. So this part here is where the belly ends, and being that it's at the depth it is, the only reason I would really be going with the liner option is from a convenience standpoint of not having to do as much bushwhacking back to where the line terminates at. It may very well make more sense just to simply dig this one up. Because so much of it is so shallow, but that is an option. But you'd have this first, 9 feet or so is very bellied out. This is stuff you'd have to dig up. And being that the cast iron's the condition it is, the air it is, I would recommend, if you're going to go through that effort of updating the little bit of cast iron mainline that is in the crawl space. I can't run backwards from this clean out, but there's a decent chance. If I see standing water at the base of the clean out, it likely originates back inside the house. Closer to 2 feet deep here. The ground's built up a little higher at this part of the yard. Yeah, so right, this is a trick I learned many years ago. When I pull the camera back quickly like I'm doing right now, if you've got about 2 inches or less of water, you're going to see the water line pull down below the camera lens. I'm not getting any of that here. So this, at its worst point, the cast iron here is just about fully submerged, if not fully submerged. I'm even hearing the line gurgle right now, so I don't know if I just poked a hole in a blockage or what's going on, but I just heard air bubbles. on this thing is it might let my camera flip backwards. We'll see here. Anyway, that's about as far as I can get the camera to look backwards. It's a directional style clean out. No standing water at the base of the clean out. It starts immediately on the outlet side. Being that it's such a short section, I would highly recommend just doing it all at the same exact time. Anyway, because of the condition of the line, the significant belly in the first 10 feet, the root intrusion, the concrete pipe's in very rough shape too. I'd recommend a full update here from the start of the cast iron pipe all the way out to the main lateral connection. I've marked out to about 37 feet the latter portion of the line. I just can't get to within reason without a weed whacker to cut the bushes down. After any repairs are done, make sure a rescope is performed to check the work, and you want to do that after the line is buried. If you do more of a trench style repair, which I think probably makes the most sense here, just given how shallow the line is. If it's awkward enough though, that last part of the line is lineable because it does have slope and grade still. And then I would again, to reiterate, I would try and deal with all the cast iron at the same time, the interior stuff. It's easy to get to, it's exposed inside the crawl space. It's all of maybe an extra 5 feet of pipe going back into the house there.